What's up everyone, my name is Charlotte and welcome back to Every Stitch Counts. It's been such a hot second since I was back on here with a good old-fashioned knitting podcast, and boy does it feel good to be back. As always, life just gets busy sometimes and I find myself having to recenter and reprioritize what it is that I'm actually doing. I get so involved in probably too many things and then I'm having to backtrack a little bit and reprioritize and re-get my life together. But nonetheless, I'm very happy that you're here, and if you're new here, I live in the Seattle, Washington area. I make podcasts about my knitting projects, learning to sew, the small business that I run where I make knitting accessories with polymer clay, life with my Australian Shepherd lady, the happenings of that part of my life. Today I just want to go through some of the things that I've been getting myself up to. I haven't been making much progress on really all but one of my knitting projects. I've been able to close out and finish a lot of them, which is great, but I'm now stuck with two that are technically two that are on the needles right now. One of them I am so intensely trying to finish and it's taking forever. We'll get into that in a second. It's my longest going whip. And then the second one, I'm not even going to show you because nothing has changed on it. It's my Lucrezia blouse. That is completely on the back burner until I finish the other one, which that's been a bit of a journey. I'm not sure how that's going to go in terms of finishing it. I'll finish it, but I'm a bit concerned about some things. And then I have some really fun acquisitions that I want to share with you all, as well as showing everybody the stitch marker drop that I just did on the 13th of September. So it's been a while and some of you may have already seen it. I posted a bunch of reels about it, but I do still have product left if you're interested. If you weren't able to purchase beforehand, it is still up there and it is still available, and I'm just gonna have it up there until I sell through what I have. So if you're interested in some cute knitting accessories, go check those out. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and listening and commenting. I just really appreciate all of you and that we can all be here together. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Figured I would start with the knitting first, since that is probably what most of you are here for. I wanted to talk about my wings sweater. The OGs will remember this because I actually started this whip, gosh, probably a year ago, over a year ago at this point. It's by Unit Toronto. It's a pattern by Claudia Quintanilla, the wings top. And it is this very billowy top. I chose all white for mine, and it's gonna be really difficult to catch this on camera, but in the midst of all of the lace here, there's beading all throughout the entire thing. So in the sunlight, you'll see little glints and flickers of the light refracting off of the beads. It's very, very pretty. This top will eventually have two sleeves like this, as well as a really big kind of Peter Pan style collar. And then of course the body will get finished. There's such a history with this top at this point. First of all, I started working on it over a year ago. So it has been a very long standing project, and I wasn't working on it as much as, you know, I guess you would to finish it. And so it kind of just got put to the back burner. When I was originally making it, I did a gauge swatch. I picked up yarn from Les Garçons, is Max the Knitter's yarn company. I bought his, I forget exactly the name of it, but it's the silk mohair base that they carry in their Betty White color, which is just white. I'm not sure if this is dyed technically or bleached in some way, or if it's just undyed white yarn, but that's the base that I chose. It comes in 426 yards per skein, and so I bought 3 originally, and that was about 1,200 yards, which according to the pattern schematics that I got was more than enough to complete like the 4th size, and I was going to originally make the first size because the sweater itself on the model, it looked very, very oversized, and there was a lot of ease in the original pattern. I set out to make the smallest size of this pattern. I have somehow ended up in the range of size 4 and 5. I do know how it happened. Basically, when I was working on this, I was doing the yoke. It's a typical raglan construction, very simple. I was doing the yoke. I did the right number of increases, and the yoke was way too short. Like, I kid you not, it didn't even come halfway down my armpit. It was just very short and very much too small. The sleeves weren't gonna be oversized, they were gonna be fitted. It was just not gonna have the fit that I envisioned it having, which was weird because I did a gauge and the gauge was technically correct, but whatever. Things happen. So I just kept on increasing, and then I started doing compound increasing, I think is what it's called. So I got the body, I was trying on the yoke, and I got the body to the width that I thought would be comfortable and look nice, and then the yoke still was not deep enough. And so I kept knitting the yoke and I kept increasing the sleeves, because I felt, based on the try-ons that I had done, that it was going to be too fitted on my arms still, which I was kind of like, how the heck is that happening? So these sleeves are technically from the size 5 of the pattern. The body, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't even counted yet. I haven't looked into that. We're a year later and your girl is playing some major yarn chicken. In fact, I don't even think I'm playing the game. I think I've lost the game. I think I know I'm not gonna have enough yarn because if you include the yoke without any of the sleeve, like you split for sleeves and then I got this far on the body, that was 1 skein. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a little tight because I have a big collar to do still. I have to do both sleeves and I have to do like the entire body. That's a lot of knitting and I have 2 skeins left. I just had no faith that that was going to be enough for anything. And so I thought, you know, the worst case scenario, the dye lot will be so different and I'll have to like order more yarn. Like I'm unsure how it's gonna go because I ordered another skein maybe like 4 weeks ago. I know the dye lot is going to be different. Like it's been a year since I've bought this yarn. So I know I'm gonna have to deal with that. I want the sleeves to be in the same dye lot. So I'm still chugging along. I have maybe 20-30%-ish of a skein left and I'm this far on the second sleeve. So I don't think I'll be able to get the entire sleeve with this. I'll probably have to crack into the third one. But regardless, I want the sleeves and the collar and all of the, I guess, more eye-catching things to be the same dye lot. And then worst case scenario, I'll just use whatever is left of this skein after the sleeve and the collar is done. And I will just alternate the skeins. Like I'll try to blend the new dye lot with this one. Bit annoying, but I would rather that than have it look very obviously like it does not match. So that's that. So pretty disappointing. I wish I had had the foresight to know to just buy like more skeins because I first bought this yarn at Flock Fiber Festival 2 years ago now, or year, not this past Flock, but the one before. So I guess a year ago. The issue is there's 2 issues. There's many issues with this. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Not only will the dye lot be different, but Les Garçons is a Canadian yarn company. And so the shipping fee was pretty high to bring it in. I did have to pay some duties on their website. They use Shopify. I did have some duties and like extra tax charges on there. I don't know at this point if I'm gonna have extra DHL fees when that package gets here. I haven't really kept up on any of the laws or what's changing or what's happening with all the like tariff stuff or whatever. I mean, it'll be fine either way, but it means that the yarn to get 1 skein was like $50. So hugely overpriced compared to what I spent when they were just physically here and I didn't have to pay all the extra like shipping and handling charges. The story gets richer though because I was starting to really think through like I have a lot of stitches on here and I probably did not need to do this, but after seeing how much yarn it took to get just 1 sleeve, I mean, I used probably 65% of 1 skein. I was like, I do not want this thing to be too short. Like, I don't want to do this again, be in the same situation of having to play yarn chicken or having to have this sweater now be cropped. And so I again, there's nothing I could do because I had bought the first skein, and then I would, like a couple weeks later, was like, I think I actually need 2 skeins. So I had to buy, I didn't have to, I chose to buy another skein from Les Garçons, and I mean, it is what it is at this point. I don't know if those will be the same dye lot. The one that I had bought previously, it was already shipped. I have no idea where it is. I think it's in California right now, actually. And I had to purchase the other one. So jury's out. Like, we'll see what the heck happens. This has by far been the most expensive project I've ever done. I mean, 3 skeins was, I think with tax, like $130. And then the other huge cost of this are the beads that go into this. Now, I take full accountability for this. I probably could have bought cheaper beads. I absolutely could have bought cheaper beads, but I bought these check glass beads, and again, I thought I was making the smallest size, and so the range of beads that I would have needed significantly less than what I am now needing. So I had to go back also recently and buy more beads because I was obviously not going to have enough. And at this point, it is very obvious that I will need to go purchase more again. And I think I've spent probably, it hurts to say, maybe these beads have ended up being like $100 and some worth of beads. I've bought them 2 separate occasions. The first time, I think I spent like $40. And then the next time I had a bit better sense of how much it was going to cost. And so I bought all the beads that they had, and it was like $80 worth of beads plus the crazy high Seattle tax. I mean, it's been expensive. And then you include into that the time that this is taking. I mean, I don't know how to really explain how long this has taken because I feel, oddly enough, that the whole thing is going by way faster than I would have thought. And the only way I can think of to explain it is that knitting on it is much faster than you would think, but slower than what you'd hope. The needle size that I'm knitting on is a US 1.5, which in the rest of the world terms, what is that? 2.5 millimeter. Tiny, tiny, tiny needles. And I'm knitting with 1 strand of silk mohair. I mean, if it wasn't lace, this would be taking literally decades of my time. But it's humming along, and I think, well, again, I know the dye lots will be different for these yarns, but I think that because I'm gonna have this original one left, I will just rotate between the skeins, and it'll be a bit annoying, but I think it'll be worth it to blend the color a bit more. And who knows, I mean, again, I don't know how this particular white is processed. Maybe it is going to be much closer. I've bought yarn with different dye lots where you truly can hardly tell. And then sometimes different dye lots, it's like, whoa, might as well be a different color. So we'll see. Big learning moment where, if I'm going to be spending the money on a really expensive project. I knew this project would be expensive. I knew it would take a long time. If I'm going to be doing that, just go over and beyond the materials that you'll need to avoid this problem, if you can. I mean, what I really should have done, hindsight, is just paused and saved until I had enough money to purchase all of the yarn that I wanted at once. And I mean, I don't know that I could have done anything too differently because I was really convinced and really did believe that I only needed that much yarn, but who knows? These things, mistakes happen. Regardless, it's a bit of a goofy situation. I hope it works out. I think it'll work out fine. It will be fine one way or the other, but all in all, knitting on it has been really fun. It is so beautiful. Sleeves are super billowy. It has this really nice kind of slight balloon sleeve effect with the cuff, and I'm really excited to do the collar. It really is a kind of a joy to knit on, and shockingly, it doesn't hurt my hands at all. I can knit on this for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't hurt my hands. It takes a while when I get to the row where I have to put the beads on the stitches individually, but it like other than that, it goes by pretty fast, and the pattern is full repeat, like everywhere. It's the same everywhere. There's no decreases. So it looks complicated, but you really just have to learn and memorize one lace chart, and then reading the lace is actually very, very easy. So I never have to look at the pattern. At this point, the only thing I'll need the pattern for is to pick up and do the neck. I'm not quite sure how they're gonna have us do the neck, but it is as beautiful as I thought it would be. And the more beads and the bigger the fabric and the piece grows and gets, the more I can see kind of the subtle iridescent sparkle of the beads, which I just really love. And I think it's gonna be just a very special piece. I hope that it like can be carried down and like kept in the family kind of thing. I hope to have daughters someday, and it's like, oh, well, like obviously I would want, maybe not, they don't have to wear it, you know, but maybe it gets passed down and it gets kept in a box, you know, of mementos or special things, because I feel like it's just so pretty. And if anything, it's like nice to keep it just because it's so pretty. So I've been loving this, and it's been a bit of a goofy experience, but a fun experience nonetheless. I have some new yarn. I have actually a fair bit of yarn in my stash, so I don't plan on purchasing any yarn for a while because I have a lot to get through, but I did want to share some things that I've gotten recently from the Lamb & Kid. The Lamb & Kid is... It's so funny because when you go into that store, it's got all these bright, crazy colors, and not all the colors are ones where I'm like, oh yeah, those are my colors. But for some reason, every time I go in there, I swear they just have something that really speaks to me. And I do really like that they have what they call counting sheep section, where it's basically all their misdyed yarns, and they're discounted, I think 30% of what the regular price is. You can find some really great stuff in there, and a lot of times when you go in there, they have like sweater quantities worth of misdyed, like matching colors. So you can mix and match. You can buy, you know, single skeins of their Surrey alpaca, which is really popular, and that's typically like what I buy when I go in there, is either their Surrey alpaca in the DK or the fingering. I think it's light fingering, but that is what I've bought recently. I was in there with my mom. We had a little Bainbridge Island day. Hey mom, I know you're watching. But we go in there whenever we go to Bainbridge, and it's very difficult for either of us to not purchase something, and this is what I bought recently. They just had these 3 colors sitting in there in various numbers. There wasn't any one color where there was enough to purchase for like a whole sweater. I actually think it was just these 2, but I liked these 2 colors a lot. I thought it needed a contrast, so I bought this regular priced pink color, because this one you can actually buy. The pink color is Pinafore, so you could buy this on their website because they have this one. They don't put the color of the misdyes because they're just counting sheep. It's not the true color that it was intended to be. So these are just rando counting sheep colors. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I do want to do some type of color work ensemble with this, and I like the idea of holding the Surrey single and having a very, very light and airy sweater of some kind. So if you have ideas or recommendations, leave them in the comments for what I might do with, I think it's like 1,200 yards technically of this Surrey yarn. I would knit it in like a fairly large gauge, so it's very, very airy and open. But yeah, TBD on this. I have no idea, really. I was thinking stripes could be kind of fun, but obviously it depends on the gauge of things. I think a little vest top would be the best use, because I could have the gauge be a bit bigger and airier, but not so big that it looks cheap, or just, I don't know, doesn't look, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you get what I'm saying. I don't want the gauge too big, but let me know in the comments below. All right, the next thing that I bought is actually similar to some other stuff that I have in my stash already that you've seen in another vlog. I had bought this like really pretty blue DK birdie yarn from the Lamb & Kid, and I have bought some more in, I think this might be becoming my new favorite color. Like, I don't know what it is about this color, this ochre kind of color. Every time I see it, I love it. I love it in home decor. I love it in clothing. I love it in jewelry. I love it on me. I just love it. I'm always finding a reason to pick it out when I'm shopping for yarn, and their name for it is Dial Tone. I've never knit with the Birdie DK, but it is 90% alpaca and 10% silk in the base. So it's a bit different in the fiber makeup than their regular Birdie, which is, you know, what you just saw. This is more of your traditional like Surrey alpaca silk blend. Let's see what this blend actually is. Yeah, so this is 74% Surrey and then 26% silk. So their Birdie DK yarn has a way higher concentration of the alpaca yarn, and because of that, it looks almost like boucle yarn in a way. It's got these big fiber pieces that kind of come out of it. Yeah, it really just looks like a brushed boucle is the best way I could describe it. But all the samples I've seen of this stuff knit up in the shop, it looks very, I wouldn't say bulky, that's not the right word, but it looks very fluffy. Obviously this yarn, it's going to like blow out a little bit, but when I asked them if it pilled at all, they were all like, no, it literally doesn't pill, which I think is really great, assuming that is true. After some wear that these wouldn't pill that much. I find it hard to imagine that, but I don't just believe them. I think they're telling the truth, and it might just be how long the fibers are, how when like they're knit and wrapped around a stitch, you know, it just doesn't pill that much because the fibers are longer. I do wonder though about shedding with this yarn because there is so much fiber like just sticking out of here, and I can kind of pull some of it out. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm not sure either what I'm gonna make with this. I had thought of making a cardigan with the blue stuff that I have in this same base, but I don't know that I want to do two cardigans back to back, so maybe like a fun vest top of some kind or a fun sweater. I don't know. I have this and I am very inspired by it, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to make with it yet. I also think, like, just to be so for real, I think I need to like get off my butt about just like self-drafting some of my own sweaters. I have been saying for so long, or thinking to myself, I should say, oh, I should, you know, self-draft something. Oh, I should try to just like self-draft something. And then I get in this like stupid little game in my brain where I'm like, oh, well, I bought all this yarn that I have in my stash for specific projects that I had in mind. Once I get through that, then I'll buy some yarn specifically to self-draft something. Like, I'm thinking about these things to myself and these thoughts that I have, and I'm finding myself saying, like, girl, sounds like excuse lane. Like, and I want to stop doing that. I feel, for whatever reason, like I kind of just keep coming up with excuses to not do it, and I should just rip the Band-Aid off. Like, I should just learn the math. I should just do it and try it out and see how it goes, because I think it would unlock knitting in a new way for me that would be very exciting. I love making patterns, obviously. I love kind of celebrating and getting to make other people's work, and a lot of it I find so incredibly beautiful, but there is a certain amount of repetition that is involved with, you know, you're knitting lots of different things, you're making lots of different things, and yeah, you start modifying some things, but they're ultimately, like, the process is the same. The process of what you're doing is the same. You're buying yarn, you're picking a pattern, you're making that pattern, you're buying new yarn, you know, rinse, repeat, that whole cycle. Whereas self-drafting, any range of difficulty in terms of a project, requires like a brand new process. And I think that would help keep it more exciting opposed to just the exact same process, you know, going through. It's kind of like, you know, scratching your brain of learning something new. And I've been saying that I want to do it for a long time, so I gotta just get off my butt and do it and like stop coming up with excuses for why. Not with this yarn, or I'll do it later, or this, that, and the other thing. That's all the like knitting stuff that I have, but I do have a few more things that I want to talk to you about. One is very, very exciting, so stay tuned for that. But real quick before I get into the last thing I want to talk about, I just quickly wanted to show you the things that I made for my recent shop drop. This shop drop was all about little honeybees and flowers. I think they came out really cute, okay? I have all different set variations on my website. You can go check those. Oh no. You can go check those out. You can buy, you know, various numbers in terms of kind of how much you want to spend or what you want to purchase. The honeybee is the main guy this go around. You can buy sets that come with these little beehives. You can purchase florals. You can also purchase more of our guy Fred here. I have quite a few of these left actually. He comes with his regular lily pads. And then I thought it would also be fun to try a couple different things that are not knitting accessories. I guess you could like fit them into your life in that way, but I really wanted to make bigger versions of the bee and of Fred the frog. And so, oh gosh, I keep dropping stuff. So I made slightly bigger versions of these charms, and these are like phone charms, or you can put them on your project bags, you can put them on your purse, your keys, kind of whatever you want. I have my two on my knitting bag right now, and they're just fun. They're just cute. If you wanted to only buy one thing, right, and you didn't necessarily want stitch markers, or you just wanted to try something different, I have those as well. And then I have one more. I have one more of these little desk buddies up for grabs. Someone bought one. Well, I only made two to begin with, but someone bought one when the drop first went out, and I have one left. So check that out. Feel free to purchase. You can also purchase just the florals separately if you want. There's, you know, a good bit of stuff left. So I appreciate any support that you have, and of course, I hope you love them and think they're as cute as I do. But now to the last thing that I want to share with you all. I will have, well, let me just show you. So I think and hope that everyone remembers the red dress saga with the seamstress down the street and how she said she was going to teach me how to sew. I've been posting like reels about it. I went to see her a couple weeks ago, and boy, do I have an update for you. I will have a try-on clip of this for you to see, but for now, I'll just show you the top portion of it because it is so cool. So to just like lay it out there straight, there is no pattern for this. She just is beginning to teach me how to cut my own pattern pieces. I had this green, or I bought this green cotton fabric, 4 yards of it. We cut out and patterned this top fitted pencil skirt portion. She taught me how to put darts in on the back. We did an invisible zipper. Look at this. Check this out. Oh no. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It opens. It opens and it closes. So that was really cool. What did we do this last time? I had the front piece done before I went back this past week, and then this past week we put the zipper in, I put the back piece together, I did this front gathering and top stitching the back, and then I stitched both sides together, you know, down the side like so. What we need to do now is adjust the fit because we kind of miscalculated like where the waist was going to hit me and how exactly I wanted the waist to hit, and where these seams sit. Right now they're sitting way too low and it kind of looks frumpy. I don't think it looks very flattering. So we need to bring the whole skirt up like an inch and a half, and then we need to adjust the darts and bring the sides in on the pencil skirt portion. So we have that pinned right now, and then when I go in this coming Sunday, we'll make those adjustments and then do the top portion and then hem the bottom. And I think for the top, we're actually just going to fold it over a bit and create some kind of like belt strip. I'm not quite sure actually like how we're gonna do that, but it's going amazing so far if you haven't noticed. I just think it's so cool. You'll see in the try on clip, it just fits so well. I still am kind of in disbelief, to be completely honest with you, that I have happened to just meet this lady down the street, and she so excitedly wants to teach me to sew and is teaching me to sew. We have a great time together. She's very, very sweet, and she has some really fun, strong opinions, which makes the time very exciting and just enjoyable. She is talking like long term, you know, she's talking about how, oh, well, you know, when I get back from Ukraine, you know, you'll have to come back and you'll have to come up with more things to make, you know, whatever we make next. So I think that it's a good sign that she's also enjoying the time, and I will find some way to like repay her back or be sure to let her know just how much I appreciate it. Beyond just my words, right, of me telling her. It feels like such a blessing, and I'm just very, very excited. I'm excited to get to the point where I can have some independence, because right now she truly has to show me how to do everything, and so I'm not really sewing too much at home yet, but hopefully that will change in the future and I'll get more confident and I'll be able to like do more on my own and then have her help me with more complicated things. But this is how it's going. Hopefully this coming Sunday it will be finished and I'll be able to show you all. This is like such an exciting part of what's going on in my life. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this little update, watching and listening, commenting, liking the video, sharing it, and just being here and enjoying the things that I make and getting to share in that with me. I really appreciate it. And a special thank you to everyone who bought something on my shop drop and who has supported my shop, you know, bought something that I've made. It is a really special feeling. You know, you make something or you do something for someone and then it's appreciated and you're supported in that way. So big thank you to everybody who has done that and continues to do that. I really appreciate it, and it's been really special to kind of see, you know, this very, very, very small business just grow slowly. You know, if I think about where I was when I first started YouTube, almost 2.5 years ago now, I mean, I wasn't making any money, and now it's like, it would be easy to think, oh, it's like so small, it doesn't even matter, but it does matter, and it matters because I think it matters to all of you and everyone who's bought something or who's just watched and supported, and it's grown significantly compared to what it was before, which was, you know, nothing. You know, I had just started, and so I greatly appreciate it, and I will continue. With that, I'm gonna sign off and I will catch you all in the next one. I hope that you're all getting to make everything that you want to make and do all the things that you want to do, and above all else in this crazy world, that you're keeping it classy for yourself and all who enjoy your company. All right, bye guys.